Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. A couple of months ago I was sent a selection of inks from an ink brand from South Korea called Oysters. Now, Oysters in the last sort of 6 months or so has really blossomed onto the international scene, and retailers like Goulet Pens have started stocking the inks. So I thought it'd be really great to get sort of an overview of what the colours are available from this brand. So as I can tell, there are 22 sort of standard colours, of which I have 21. One wasn't available at the time, and I got one sort of special edition as well, which I think is really interesting. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to look at these inks. I'll show you the bottles and things up in sort of more detail, but you get them in a 38 bottle or an 18ml bottle, depending on the what part of the range you're getting the inks from. I've swabbed them up onto different sorts of paper. We'll do a quick writing sample with a couple of them on a range of different papers, just so you get an idea of the style of performance of these inks. And yeah, we'll also just discuss briefly what I think about the entire line. So I plan to do a couple of reviews of a few of these over the coming months, sort of specific ones. So keep an eye out for those, but this is sort of an overview of the colours and the performance sort of in general of the line. So I hope you find this video useful and interesting, and thanks for watching, and let's get started. Alright, here we are with the inks that I have been looking at from Oysters, and here is the special edition Marine Green, which I think is a really interesting ink, but not part of their usual lineup. So I was sent 21 of the usual inks. Seal Brown, one of the delicious inks, wasn't available at the time, so I didn't get that one, but this gives you a really good overview of the sort of colours you can expect from this range. So this is just on sort of cardstock. Now, what I also have here are, I've swabbed them all on Tomoe River, and I've swabbed them all on Rhodia. So we'll start with the Rhodia, and I'm not going to attempt to say some of the titles because, well, I can't, but here are the inks on the Rhodia, which is a really sort of decent level of expectation of what you can get from these beautiful inks. Cobalt blue there being beautiful and vibrant, and this orange here, Hwangto, is I think quite nice. Doldam there is, I think, a really interesting grey with some interesting sort of gold sheen on it, which is quite fantastic. Hanul there is, I think, a really lovely turquoise, which light blue turquoise, which you'll see in a pen in a minute. I have inked 4 of these inks up into pens to do a quick writing sample, so we'll see sort of how we go when we get through those. Next we have the next sort of little set of them. Cool grey and the blue there, both lovely colours. Aqua green. I particularly like purple grey. It's probably my favourite of the entire line. And then, yeah, chili red, mustard, and that special edition marine green there. Once again, showing that it's a really interesting, unique sort of colour. Not dissimilar to Robert Oster Tranquility or Colourverse Gravity Wave. Next, we'll look at them on Tomoe River. Now, I've split them over 2 pages again here, and you can see some of the other qualities that these inks possess. A little bit of sheen and some sort of more heightened shading. There's that orange again, which sort of has like an interesting sort of pink sheen that comes through. And you can see that gold sheen there on Dodam again, and the shading of Hanul. And then over the page, Black Moss has a really nice sheen on it. That's this sort of dark purpley gold colour. It's really beautiful. And there's purple grey again, which isn't a sheening ink, but just has some lovely sort of depth to it. So yeah, these are, and marine green having that sort of typical, or what I call the Robert Oster halo sheen, which he seems to do very well on his inks. So that's Tomoe River. So what I'm going to do now is we'll do a quick writing sample on a few different sorts of paper with the 4 inks that I've chosen. As I said, I'm going to be doing reviews of some of these, but this is just an overview to show the range of colours, and I'll give some ideas on my feelings on the performances of the inks as well in just a short moment. So what I wanted to do was just give a quick, a bit more of a rundown as to what how the line is presented firstly. So this comes from, I can't say the name of it, but it's a Hun Min Jung or along those lines. I will write it out for you in a second when I show you the ink. There are 4 inks in this particular series, and they are black, cobalt blue, jade green, and scarlet, and they're designed to represent sort of traditional everyday colours for writing, and named after a particular Korean script, which was from like the 15th century. So these are the 18 ml bottles, and they're not dissimilar to say like an Oroshizuku 15 ml bottle, nice sort of square base, good cap, and plain, elegant, simple packaging, labeling and everything. So these inks come in this size, and then the other 2 main lines, the i.color.u and the Delicious line. Now the Delicious line, I'll just bring up this Rhodia page again, features things like the navy blue and the purple grey, aqua green, lovely blues and things like that, and red wine, which is quite an interesting colour. And then the i.color.u series, which once again sort of the i.color.u series is supposed to represent Seoul and its the history and the environment. So interesting sort of colours, and with quite a lot of depth in them for the most part, and also sort of more, I think they're more sort of traditional inks in a lot of ways, with sort of less sheen, whereas the Delicious lines are sort of a more modern take, and sort of up to the sort of a bit more the current fashion of inks that are available. So they come in this larger bottle, which is 38 ml bottle, which I'll just take out of the box here. And these are an interesting bottle. They're sort of, you can see that they're definitely clearly related to the smaller bottle. Same sort of hexagonal, octagonal cap, square, but also with that little, as a lot of people have shown, that little cutout on the corner there, which, so once the ink starts to get low, you can lean the bottle over to fill it sort of deeper into the ink, which I think is a really lovely effect of these bottles. And other brands have similar sorts of things where you can lean the bottle on its side. So what I've done, I was sent a range of things in the bottles and also in these cute little sample vials. So as I said, I've seen 21 of the standard inks and then the 1 special edition ink, and I've inked 4 up into some Wingsung pens here, just for sake of unity, all with fine nibs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here on the Rhodia, I'm going to write on some Tomoe River, and then a couple of sort of cheaper papers, and then back onto the Rhodia I'm going to do a quick water test just to see sort of how they run. So here in the pink pen we have the purple grey from the Delicious line. And then we'll just do a couple of little water tests. So I'll do a crosshatch there for that one. As you can see, this is a nice sort of purple that dries a little bit grayer. I don't know quite sure how that's going to show up on the camera, but it's sort of, yeah, I think that title is really very, very appropriate. Next here in the, I'll go to this one, the green gold pen we have, blue gold, we have, I think this is Black Moss, which is once again from the Delicious line. So once again, this is a really lovely dark, rich ink. And on first sight, it does look quite black. But as it sort of dries, and as you see some of the shading, you see some lovely sort of deep green coming through, which I think is fabulous. Okay, moving right along, we'll move to the dodgy pen. This one is very temperamental, but it's got the Hanul ink in it from the i.color.u series. and I really apologise for how I'm saying these names. This pen just is not behaving. Go nice and slow. So this is the... Okay, that's enough for you to see, and you'll definitely see how beautiful the shading is of this ink. It's quite lovely. It reminds me a lot of i.color from Iroshizuku. And then last we have another. This is from the traditional line, which is the jade green. So this is the name that the Hun. Oh, hang on. Start again. 3 oysters. That's the Hun Min. That line, and the ink is jade. And this is another lovely green. I've been lucky to review some lovely greens recently, but not all have performed 100% to my satisfaction. So we'll take this page off here so we can see the back of it and then do a water test. Drop some water on it and see what happens. But you can see there just how well these inks look on this page. Nice sort of colours that sort of come through. And on the back, what do we get? Nothing. Which is always an excellent, excellent sign. Okay, I'm going to drop some water on these. And I'll drop water on 2 of them. 1 and 2. See what happens with those. And then we'll do a bit of a wet swab on a couple. Oh, getting some water spread there, always handy. Another bit of water on there. And then we'll come back and see how they go. Okay, just move that off up to the side there. And let's do quick writing on some Tomoe River, where I have my Hobonichi weeks from 2018. And I'm just going to write just a couple of words with each one. Apologise for the road noise in the background. And then when these 3008s write well, like this one does, they write beautifully. When they don't write well, they're a right pain. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second once that's dried. 2 more sort of budget papers. We'll just go a plain copy paper and then a plain note paper, student notepad. But let's see what we get when we check it out on the back. So here it is on the Reflex 80-gram copy paper. You can see there's not terribly much feathering or anything like that. You can see there that sort of moss sort of green coming through on the black moss colour there. Some shading, which is nice. And then on the back, for the most part, it performs reasonably well. There's a bit of dots of bleed occasionally, but not too bad. Now on the lower end, again, we do see some feathering. Most of these inks are feathering a little bit. Some more than others, but you know, not bad really. I've certainly seen worse. So a recent Boncha ink really did a number on this paper. but on the back you get a bit of bleed of everything, not to be unexpected on this paper. So now back to this Rhodia and the water test we did. Let's dry these up. So after drying that up, you can see that they actually all perform pretty well. You're not losing much on the jade. Black moss really lightens up, but it's still visible. Even the blue there is not entirely disappearing, although there are spots where it is. And then purple grey, you just get a lot more of the grey. This is the purple. So not terrible. I think that there are certainly less water resistant inks around, and if this is a sign of the line, I think they're actually going to perform pretty well. So that was just a very quick overview of the 3 Oysters ink lineup. You can see that they come with nice bottles, simple packaging, they're good sort of standard colours, nothing too fancy, no shimmer, no like high sheening inks, a little bit of sheen here and there, but nothing that goes crazy, a little bit of shading occasionally, but sort of generally pretty well behaved, nice looking traditional inks. And that's my personal taste, so I hope that you enjoy those two, and if you do, check out this line. It's certainly worth investigating. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, please give it like and subscribe and thumbs up and all that sort of stuff. Hit the notifications button to stay up to date. Please keep your eye out for reviews of a few of these inks. I've chosen, I think, 4 that I'm going to do specialized reviews on. If there are inks that you particularly are interested in seeing reviews of, let me know and I'll see what I can do, and that, who knows, they might line up with what I was going to do myself anyway. But I really like these inks, and yeah, check them out. Find them at some retailers, and yeah, look at them online, and I think they're really interesting. So thank you for watching. Find me on all my platforms, get in touch. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if you've got ways you'd like to support the channel, get in touch and let's see what we can do. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you later.